The BBC tried desperately to breathe some life into Doctor Who, announcing its return at Christmas next year. But as we all knew, without Disney, who have pulled the plug. Hi everyone, it's Az here from HeelvsBabyface. It was only a few days ago that I did a video saying Doctor Who was done. And to all intents and purposes, it is. The second season of Russell T Davies's second tenure in charge of the show was an unmitigated disaster, with Doctor Who seeing not just all-time lows, but all-time lows by a country mile. And I think we worked it out that 11 of the lowest 13 or possibly even 12 episodes of Doctor Who has been under the Ncuti Gatwa era. What a raving success as Russell T Davies returned with incredible social messages like "My white people be racist" and "Me climate change," and well, that was it. That was pretty much all he had. Everybody was racist and the earth is burning or whatever. Oh, and forgive me, how could I forget? Everybody's gay. So this article dropped. Doctor Who, the BBC confirms 2026 return for the sci-fi series as Disney ends its deal. Doctor Who will be back on our screens at Christmas next year with a special episode. Oh, I doubt that there will be anything special about this episode apart from the abysmal ratings. Written by Russell T Davies, with Disney Plus confirming they will not be partnering on the next season of the sci-fi show. The BBC remains fully committed, where have you heard that before, to the show, and will announce plans for the next series in due course to ensure the Doctor's adventures continue. Well, I've got a little bit of news for you. The Doctor's adventures ended years and years ago when Capaldi regenerated. Everything after that has been absolutely, utterly abysmal dog shit, fan fiction, far left freaky weirdo bollocks that nobody has ever wanted. And 60 years of this wonderful show's history has gone up in smoke because a bunch of libtards in charge of what makes programming and who becomes the Doctor and what stories get told on that platform have decided that everybody's racist now and you need lecturing and not entertaining. Lindsay Salt might as well rub that into the open wound of Doctor Who. Director of drama. Fucking hell. BBC says, "We'd like to thank Disney Plus for being terrific global partners and collaborators." Never has a more apt name been used there. They are definitely collaborators. Probably more fitting if they existed in the 1930s and 40s, but most definitely collaborators over the past 2 seasons, which they stumped up £100 million for up front. And then when they realised the utter dogshit drivel that Russell T Davies excreted onto the screen, and the fact that it couldn't even pop a rating on their streaming channel, never mind the fact it couldn't even pop a rating on the BBC One in prime time, but don't fret about that. And for the upcoming The War Between the Land and Sea, which is going to be an iPlayer only production, which nobody gives a flying fuck about. The BBC remains fully committed to Doctor Who, which continues to be one of our most loved dramas. Well, it doesn't really, does it? Because the viewing figures reflect that it's now in the fucking toilet, with less than 2 million people in the UK watching an episode. And by the way, the UK has a population of what, 60, 70 odd million now? Yeah, it's getting up there thanks to organic growth, but don't worry about that. But they can't even be bothered to tune in to this show, which used to get 10, 11, 12 million at a time. In actual fact, the show sank to around about 1.5 million at one point and was happy to be below that 2 million mark for pretty much every single episode of season 2. But yes, beloved. And we are delighted that Russell T Davies has agreed to destroy another wonderful experience at Christmas for families and children as he pushes his ever infuriatingly annoying, stunning and brave, everybody's gay agenda into our homes. I'm only joking. Nobody's going to watch anyway, so it doesn't really matter. We can assure fans the Doctor is not going anywhere. What it is, it's spiraling the toilet as it's been flushed, going down with other turds. Because you've annihilated this series, you've killed the brand, nobody cares, nobody's interested anymore, you haven't got the right people in charge, and more importantly, the BBC is disgusted and embarrassed at the show's legacy of white, male, straight doctors spanning nearly 60 years, which, by the way, is the whole reason why the show was popular, but don't worry about that. And ever since they switched it to a woman and a bunch of gay people, the show's just fallen off completely. But, as any libtard will tell you, if at first you don't succeed, double down, triple down, quadruple down, and in fact do it until the franchise is absolutely beyond any recognition, and then move on to another one to destroy. We will be announcing plans for the next series in due course, because there are no plans at the minute, because we were desperate for Disney to carry on the deal funding this falling apart BBC, where the license fee is now absolutely under threat and can be pulled. And if it does, then we have to source our own money. And if we have to source our own money, then we're not going to get any, because nobody's going to watch our shit. So it's going to be pointless for advertisers to give us any. That's my opinion. Gatwa's regeneration was tagged onto the episode finale following the star's late decision to leave the sinking ship in desperate hope that Hollywood would throw him a line, which forced a rewrite and a reshoot of the original ending of the series. Gatwa debuted during the 60th anniversary specials in what can only be described as some of the most embarrassing Doctor Who ever seen. Well, the BBC might be trying to flog this dead horse, but the reality is, if you've proven to be too progressive for even Disney's liking, you're done. It's over. Goodbye, farewell, auf Wiedersehen. This, to me, just proves beyond a shadow of a doubt that Doctor Who is even more dead than we initially thought. The BBC announcing a Christmas special, probably ad hoc. And secondly, there was no plans for another series anyway, because they were desperate for that Disney money to continue this. Russell T Davies begged Disney to renew. He did that in his first season. We knew then it was over, and Disney and the BBC have now proved that. I'll see you in the next video. You take care. Goodbye, Belubo!